There are nights in history that aren't recorded in the books, yet they become the moments that shape a dynasty, deeply influencing its fate. A lavish banquet celebrating the coronation of King Charles III was held, marking the beginning of a new era. Surrounded by the dazzling lights of crystal chandeliers and congratulatory laughter, that evening seemed like just another festive occasion. However, behind the glittering exterior, an unseen battle was quietly unfolding between two women of the royal family. In the powerful space of Buckingham Palace, where the footsteps of royal members echo like the march of history, the confrontation unfolded without gunfire or loud headlines. There were only piercing glances, sharp words, and carefully chosen actions. Each word and gesture carried the weight of an irreversible decision, a moment that could forever alter the future of the entire monarchy. If you find this story interesting, leave a comment with the number 1. If not, comment with the number 0. Don't forget to hit like, share the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any exciting videos. Now let's dive into the story. Camilla, once seen as an interloper, now sits beside King Charles, bearing the title of Queen Consort. Across from her is Princess Anne, the daughter of Queen Elizabeth II, who has always remained steadfastly loyal to the crown's legacy and traditional values. In the serene atmosphere of the banquet, a sharp, cold question suddenly pierces the air like a whisper, yet it carries a powerful, steely weight. From that moment on, Buckingham Palace ceases to be a symbol of royal unity. It transforms into a tense battleground where a silent power struggle unfolds, quiet yet forceful enough to shift the balance. This is not just a clash between two royal women, but a battle between two different visions for the monarchy. One vision, steeped in memory, honor, and loyalty to the past, represents the image of timeless values preserved through generations. The other is driven by ambition. Silence, compromises, and shadows where decisions are quietly made and subtly adjusted, hidden behind unspoken struggles. Within the gilded walls of Buckingham Palace, where opulent rooms have witnessed countless historic events, a small crack almost invisible emerges. It's not easy to spot, yet powerful enough to threaten a crown once thought to be invulnerable. So, if the truth ever came to illuminate that mysterious mirrored room, the meticulously adorned golden walls and towering mirrors reflecting the light from the crystal chandeliers would serve as the stage for the great moments of the British monarchy. The silent glances exchanged, every gesture emanating the utmost tension, as if a wordless verdict was waiting to be passed. The party had ceased to be just a formal event. It had transformed into a symbol of the deep changes within the royal family, where relationships and power were no longer simple matters, but a silent and intense battle. Essentially, Buckingham Palace was no longer just a venue for ceremonies. It had become a stage for witnessing a profound shift in both values and authority. All eyes were on Princess Anne and Camilla, two symbols of two contrasting visions, as the crown, the symbol of power, recognition, and legacy, might never hold the same significance again. On November 14, 2023, a grand ceremony will take place to celebrate the coronation of King Charles III, marking the beginning of a new reign. Diplomats, nobles, and royals will gather in their finest attire, with the sound of crystal glasses clinking and polite congratulations filling the air. However, beneath the opulence, a storm is quietly brewing. And at the heart of this storm are two women, Princess Anne and Camilla, the new Queen Consort. At the age of 73, Princess Anne embodies the unyielding resolve of a woman who has spent her entire life defending her mother, Queen Elizabeth II, and the legacy she left behind. Her sharp, steel-blue eyes sweep across the room, pausing on Camilla, who sits near the head of the table beside King Charles. Camilla wears an emerald silk gown, her crown gleaming atop her silver hair, symbolizing her new title. Yet her past, the notorious affair with Charles, and her role in the collapse of his marriage to Diana, casts a shadow that no crown can erase. As a result, her presence at the pinnacle of the monarchy remains clouded with suspicion. Anne raised her glass, her hand trembling slightly as she spoke. The room hummed with whispers before the chatter fell into a heavy silence. Do you truly believe you deserve to sit on that throne after destroying Diana's happiness, to claim it for yourself? Her voice was soft, but each word cut like a knife slicing through the tense air. No one dared to breathe. Guests from the Duke of Gloucester to the French ambassador stood frozen in place. Camilla, known for her composure under pressure, did not flinch. She lifted her chin, her brown eyes flashing with defiance. With a faint, cold smile, she replied, "The throne is about continuity. The inheritance belongs to the deceased." This silent confrontation was not just a personal moment, but a symbol of the ongoing tension between two contrasting visions of the monarchy. On one side, there was legacy, honor, and loyalty to the past. On the other, ambition, acceptance, and compromise. At Buckingham Palace that night, the shimmering chandeliers could not erase the truth buried deep within the shadows of power struggles and loyalty. On November 14, 2023, a lavish dinner was held at Buckingham Palace to celebrate the coronation of King Charles III, marking the beginning of a new reign. Diplomats, nobles, and royal family members gathered in their grand attire with sparkling crystal chandeliers and the clinking of glasses blending with polite congratulations. However, amidst the grandeur, a silent confrontation was quietly erupting between two women of the royal family, Princess Anne and Camilla, the newly crowned Queen Consort. The banquet was not just a celebration of a new reign, but also a crossroads of complex relationships and power struggles within the royal family. At 73, Princess Anne embodies the unwavering determination of a woman who has devoted her entire life to protecting her mother, Queen Elizabeth II, and the legacy she left behind. Known not only for her steadfast commitment to maintaining royal traditions, but also for her relentless defense of the family's values and honor. Anne's sharp, steel-like blue eyes scanned the room, stopping at Camilla, who sat near the head of the table beside King Charles. Meanwhile, Camilla, dressed in an emerald green silk gown and a sparkling crown symbolizing her new title, could not escape the scrutiny. Yet Camilla's past, her infamous affair with Charles and her role in the collapse of his marriage to Diana, remains a dark shadow, one that no piece of jewelry could ever dispel. In the midst of the dinner, the air grew heavy as Princess Anne raised her glass, her hand slightly trembling before speaking. The room buzzed, and then the chatter gradually fell silent. Her voice, soft but sharp, cut through the thick air like a knife. Do you truly believe you deserve to sit on this throne after destroying Diana's happiness to claim it? The words hit like a lightning bolt on a clear night, freezing everyone in the room. No one dared to breathe. Guests from the Duke of Gloucester to the French ambassador felt the tension hanging in the air. However, Camilla, known for her calmness and composure under pressure, remained unshaken. She lifted her chin, her brown eyes flashing with defiance, and with a cold, faint smile, she responded, "The throne is about continuity. The inheritance belongs to the dead." This confrontation was not just a personal grudge, but a clash of two distinct visions for the monarchy. Anne, with her unwavering loyalty to the past, stood as a symbol of tradition, honor, and the preservation of Queen Elizabeth II's legacy. In contrast, Camilla represented a malleable kind of power, her position secured not by public acclaim, but through carefully calculated moves made in the shadows. A nearby earl whispered to his companion, "This isn't dinner. This is a declaration of war." The whisper spread through the room, but no one dared speak out loud. Anne kept her gaze fixed firmly on Camilla, her watchful eyes never leaving her. Camilla set her glass down with a soft but deliberate click, signaling the beginning of an unyielding battle. The dinner ended in a suffocating silence. Guests quietly filed out, yet the echo of the confrontation lingered in the air. Outside the ballroom, everything seemed to carry on as usual, but behind closed doors, the press began to buzz with the aftermath. A reporter from the Times hastily scribbled a note: "The clash between Anne and Camilla is not merely a family feud, it's a sign of a monarchy cracking at its core." Though the full details remained unclear, the kingdom sensed that a fateful showdown had begun, and its repercussions were unforeseeable. The fragile remnants of a monarchy under siege became evident in every glance exchanged, every word spoken. Three days after the confrontation in the mirrored room, its reverberations still echoed through the halls of Buckingham Palace, where the golden walls and historical portraits kept the dynasty's secrets tightly guarded. Princess Anne, with her unwavering determination, stepped into the royal family's private library, a space few were ever allowed to enter. The air in the library smelled of aged leather dust and towering bookshelves filled with the monarchy's secrets. A solitary oil lamp on the walnut desk cast a dim light illuminating Anne's stern face. She wasn't here to reminisce. A sharp, instinctive sense told her that somewhere within the lines of history's pages there was an untold truth about her mother, Queen Elizabeth II. The legacy of Queen Elizabeth II was waiting to be uncovered. Anne moved with the precision of a strategist, her gloved hands unlocking hidden drawers and sifting through rusty metal boxes. Hours passed the silence only broken by the creaking wood and the rustling of paper. Then behind a weathered oak panel she found a small wooden box. Its surface was intricately carved with rose motifs as if deliberately concealed from prying eyes. Anne's pulse quickened as she lifted the lid. Inside was a single VHS tape, its black plastic casing coated in dust but still intact. On the label in Elizabeth's meticulous handwriting were the words, "To be opened only when the integrity of the monarchy is threatened." Anne's breath caught. The weight of those words pressed down on her chest, stirring a mix of fear and duty within her. No matter what was on this tape, it was not just a relic. It was a ticking time bomb capable of shattering the monarchy. Clutching the box tightly, Anne descended into a secluded room deep within the palace where a 1980s VHS player was still carefully preserved. Her hand trembled slightly as she slid the tape in and pressed play. The screen flickered and slowly came to life, revealing an image that sucked the air out of the room. In a dim hospital room bathed in the harsh glow of fluorescent lights, Princess Diana sat weakly, her face pale and gaunt. Her blonde hair was disheveled, her once radiant face gaunt, but her blue eyes burned with a mixture of determination and fear. "I'm being watched," Diana said, her voice trembling but firm. Her gaze shifted toward the door as though she were anticipating an intruder. "Charles is being influenced. Camilla and a close confidant have been giving him mood-altering drugs. I didn't consent. They're controlling him." Each word hit Anne like a hammer, the weight of the revelation settling heavily in her chest. She sat motionless, gripping the edge of the chair, her face pale. The recording not only exposed a scandalous affair, but also hinted at a much darker conspiracy. Camilla, alongside an unidentified figure with influence in healthcare and security within the Interior Ministry, appeared to have manipulated Charles's mental health not just to secure her personal relationship with him, but to fortify her position and royal power. In the final days of her life, Diana had tried to sound the alarm, but unseen forces had silenced her. Anne replayed the tape, each viewing deepening her understanding of the gravity of her discovery. She recalled the 1990s when Diana had grown increasingly distant from the royal whispers about her instability and the gradual rise of Camilla in the court's heart. The pieces of the puzzle now fell into place, painting a chilling picture. Camilla's rise was not a mere coincidence, but the result of a meticulously orchestrated plan backed by shadowy hands. With the decisiveness of a seasoned general, Anne moved swiftly. She entrusted the tape to a trusted palace technician and ordered 2 copies to be made. One was sent to the Privy Council, accompanied by a letter from Kurt Piercing requesting an urgent investigation. This truth cannot be buried. The original, however, she personally transported to Geneva, Switzerland, where it was securely stored in a private bank vault known only to her. On the flight from London, Anne silently swore to herself, "This is not personal. It is about the survival of the monarchy." Back at Buckingham, news that the Privy Council had received a copy and was planning a closed-door meeting spread like wildfire. But Anne knew the path ahead was fraught with danger. Camilla, with her cunning and vast network, would not remain passive while her secrets were exposed. And Charles, the brother she respected but often disagreed with, could be the greatest obstacle torn between love and duty. In the dim light of the library, Anne stood alone, clutching the now empty wooden box. By playing the tape, she had opened Pandora's box, and there was no turning back. The recording was more than evidence. It was a voice from the past, a warning from Diana, and a reminder from Elizabeth that the values of the monarchy could never be compromised. Anne's heart was heavy, but her resolve was unbreakable. Her footsteps echoed as she left the library, ready to face the storm she had unleashed. As whispers about Diana's VHS tape spread throughout the Privy Council, the pressure on Camilla reached an unprecedented level. Driven by Princess Anne, the council scheduled a private hearing for early January 2024 to review the tape's contents and the allegations of Camilla manipulating King Charles's mental health. This unprecedented move threatened not only Camilla's title, but also the credibility of Charles III's young reign. However, just before the official announcement of the hearing, Camilla dropped a bombshell through Buckingham Palace's press office. She would be stepping down from all public duties due to a serious chest infection. This statement, issued on January 3, 2024, sent shockwaves through the nation. Major news outlets like BBC and Sky News reported cautiously, while tabloid newspapers ran sensational headlines about Queen Camilla being hospitalized and struggling with illness. The public, already skeptical of Camilla's motives, began to question her. The doubts grew even further with a shocking revelation. A group of independent journalists from the Royal Affairs Watch, a longtime watchdog, discovered that Camilla was not in any hospital. Instead, she was found attending private meetings with Charles at Sandringham, the royal family's retreat in Norfolk. Photos from an anonymous source showed Camilla dressed casually but appearing healthy, stepping out of a Range Rover.
I think the girls with their nails done now.
No mask, no doctor, no medical staff. A summary of the footage shot from a distance captured her and Charles in a heated argument in a meeting room, papers scattered all over the table. This revelation sparked outrage. Political commentators from Piers Morgan to Owen Jones voiced their opinions. In an article for The Audience, veteran journalist Andrew Neil wrote, "This is not illness. This is a delay tactic. Camilla and Charles have staged a sophisticated power bargaining to avoid the hearing." Other royal experts agree, noting that Camilla's health-related withdrawal was a calculated move to ease the pressure from both the council and the public, while still protecting her title without facing the allegations head-on. Inside the royal family, a secret agreement has emerged. Sources close to Buckingham Palace reveal that Charles had agreed to protect Camilla from a public title stripping on the condition that she temporarily withdraw and avoid public appearances until the scandal dies down. In return, Charles committed to using his authority to delay or dilute the council's investigation. A royal assistant speaking anonymously to the Telegraph stated that Charles couldn't bear the thought of losing Camilla, but also couldn't allow the monarchy to continue unraveling. It's a temporary solution, but one that is highly precarious. However, this plan did little to extinguish the growing fire. Anne, leading the traditionalist faction, quietly worked with legal experts to ensure that the hearing would proceed. Her unwavering efforts toward transparency fueled public demand for clarity on platforms like Reddit and Twitter. The hashtag Justice for Diana quickly became a global trend, with thousands of posts rallying for justice for Diana.
Girls with their nails done.
A Twitter user wrote, "Diana tried to warn us, and now Camilla is running away. It's time for the truth to be revealed." A small group of protesters even gathered outside Buckingham Palace, holding signs reading, "Justice for Diana" and "No mercy for Camilla." The battle now went beyond the tape recording or Camilla's title. It became a struggle for the soul of the monarchy, between openness and secrecy, between tradition and power. As 2024 arrived, the kingdom knew that the coming months would shape this reign forever. In a private meeting room at St. James's Palace, the Privy Council, a high advisory body consisting of legal experts and representatives from the Church of England, faced a schism unlike any since Edward's abdication crisis in 1936. If you found this story interesting and want to learn more, don't forget to share the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments below to let us know what you think. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more exciting videos. Now let's continue with the story. On January 15th, 2024, the atmosphere was as heavy as the gray skies of London outside. The intricately decorated oak walls and Persian carpets could not mask the tension among the members gathered to debate Diana's VHS tape and the accusations against Queen Camilla. The Loyalists, led by Sir Edward Langley, a longtime advisor to King Charles III, and his former private secretary during his time as Prince of Wales, argued that the tape held no legal weight. Langley, with his steady but authoritative voice, declared, "We are dealing with a one-sided account of Diana captured during a time of mental fragility. There are no medical records or credible witnesses to corroborate the claims that Camilla or anyone else manipulated the king's health." He emphasized that any further investigation would only tarnish the monarchy's reputation, especially considering that Charles' reign had only lasted for a year. The story between Princess Anne and Camilla grew more intense than ever, as each side struggled to protect their own interests and the legacy of the British monarchy. While Anne remained steadfast in demanding a thorough investigation to safeguard the integrity of the monarchy, Camilla relentlessly sought to protect her reputation, making the battle between tradition and power increasingly fierce. With the involvement of legal experts, Anne had prepared a series of questions to clarify the suspicions surrounding Camilla, particularly regarding her influence on King Charles over the years. However, the tension didn't stop at the internal investigation. It began to spill over into the public when Camilla decided to strike back, using the media to reshape her image and defend her position.
I think the girls with their nails done.
In a closed meeting, Anne emphasized that if the monarchy wanted to maintain its credibility and public trust, they had to confront the past and not hide any secrets. Camilla, on the other hand, used public relations tactics to portray herself as a victim of prejudice and media criticism rather than a manipulator of power. The battle between these two women is not merely a struggle for power. It reflects the conflict between the traditional and modern values of the British monarchy, while also serving as a lesson about the power of the media in shaping and altering public perception. As the pressure mounts, both Anne and Camilla are fighting to protect what they believe is right. But the outcome will ultimately shape not only the future of the monarchy, but also the legacy of generations to come. This article implies that Princess Anne's strong opposition is not merely about defending tradition, but also reflects a deep sense of anger toward what she perceives as Queen Elizabeth's indifference. There's a viewpoint suggesting that Anne is not just fighting for principles, but also aiming to undermine Camilla's character, believing that she is unworthy of inheriting the throne. The campaign initiated by Anne has sparked a strong response from the public, particularly from younger generations who have grown wary of Camilla. This tension is not just about tradition versus modernity, but also a confrontation between an unresolved dark past and the continuation of power. Social media posts and podcasts condemn Camilla's actions, claiming her power is not built on progressive ideals, but through shady political deals. These factors have sparked hatred and anger from the public toward Camilla, something she had not anticipated. On the night of January 29, 2024, as Anne's battle reached its peak, a letter sealed with a red stamp from Sandringham appeared on her desk at Clarence House. The content of the letter was a strong threat recalling a horrifying secret from 1992 that Anne had hoped would remain buried forever. It was a dark story of the royal family involving a child who had been quietly expelled, a child with royal blood yet tied to politically sensitive relationships. 1992 was a painful year for the British royal family, as alongside other public scandals such as the divorce between Charles and Diana, a lesser-known but equally serious event occurred. A cousin of Queen Elizabeth became pregnant by a Scottish Arab officer. Though the relationship had been discreet, the situation came to light when the cousin fainted at an event revealing her 3-month pregnancy. In a royal family already facing a crisis, the child with royal blood but tied to a family that was politically inappropriate became an unacceptable threat. Queen Elizabeth, with her coldly pragmatic personality, ordered that the situation be handled in complete secrecy. The baby girl was born in a military hospital in Germany, guarded tightly, and then sent to Switzerland, where she was adopted by an Austrian noble family. All related records were erased, and the Queen's cousin, after being isolated, was forbidden from ever mentioning the incident. Princess Anne, playing a crucial role in directing this plan, coordinated with security agencies to ensure that no information leaked out, keeping this secret as tightly sealed as possible. This reflects a crucial aspect of the British monarchy, the decisiveness in protecting the institution and its power, sometimes by concealing dark secrets that no one could imagine. These actions will never be publicly acknowledged, but they carry a weight in the royal decisions. At 42, Princess Anne proved herself to be a reliable executor of Queen Elizabeth's commands in palace matters. However, the decisions she made in the past, though justified as protecting the monarchy's image, left Anne questioning whether she had sacrificed her morals for power. After sleepless nights, she wondered if duty truly triumphed over justice and humanity. When she received the letter from Sandringham, a clear threat from someone close to Camilla, or perhaps Camilla herself, Anne stood at a crossroads. Pushing for the inquiry into Diana's tape could expose the secrets of 1992, a revelation that would not only jeopardize her own reputation, but also that of the monarchy. However, silence had allowed Camilla's truth to remain buried, and Anne realized she was becoming a half-hearted moralist, betraying the values she had spent her life defending. With unwavering determination, Anne recalled her mother's words, "The crown must never be worn by those who fear the truth." With resolute will, she burned the letter in the fireplace, watching the flames consume every threat. She was determined not to let Camilla manipulate the monarchy once again. Ignoring the standard council procedure, Anne took a bold step, invoking Article 11 of the Royal Protocol regarding sacred heritage. This allowed for an audit of the royal ceremonies to assess the suitability of the title holder, and if the title holder did not meet the standards, they could be permanently frozen.
Girls with their nails done.
Anne chose Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales, to serve as the ceremonial auditor, a privileged role reserved for the future queen. Selecting Kate was a strategic move, as her integrity and reputation would help elevate the monarchy's image. Although Kate initially hesitated to get involved in the political fray, she agreed after a private conversation with Anne. "You don't need to say much," Anne told her. "Just stand there and let the truth speak for itself." The audit took place on January 30th, 2024 at Clarence Hall, a historic room where royal ceremonies had been signed since the reign of George V. The room was sealed, admitting only heirs, lawyers, and representatives of the Church of England. A camera in the corner recorded the event to ensure transparency for the future. Anne began the audit by playing Diana's VHS tape for the first time before such a powerful group of people. As Diana's fragile but determined image filled the screen, the room fell silent. Diana's trembling voice echoed, "If I've gone one day, find the one who made me cry, the one who called me a barrier, and see her wear the crown as if she hasn't stolen a thing."
Nails done.
Kate, dressed in a deep blue gown, stood up after the tape ended. Without notes or a script, she spoke with calm authority. "This is about honor, not ceremony. If the one called queen lacks the respect of the people, then that title holds no value." Kate's words, though not accusatory, clearly undermined the legitimacy of Camilla's position as queen consort. She finished by locking eyes with the council, boldly walking down the room. From the lawyers to the bishops, everyone felt the weight of the moment. Anne sat at the head of the table, giving a subtle nod, her eyes shining with pride. Kate, with quiet integrity, had turned the audit into an undeniable verdict. Camilla was unfit for the throne. Although Camilla had been notified and invited to attend the ceremonial audit, she chose to abstain. Whether the decision was due to health reasons or scheduling conflicts, the council regarded it as a rejection of the ritual, a severe violation of Appendix 11 of the 1953 Act, which had previously been used to strip the Duke of Windsor of ceremonial roles after his abdication. Camilla's absence was seen as a tacit admission that she could not defend her title against the allegations. At Clarence Hall, after Kate's speech, Archbishop Michael Hensley, the chairman of the council, stood and solemnly declared that the title of Queen Consort, held by Camilla Parker Bowles, would be temporarily frozen until the results of the heritage audit and public opinion were determined. The council would oversee the implementation of this decision. Although made in a closed room, this announcement marked a historic turning point. For the first time in over 7 decades, a royal title was suspended on ethical grounds. 3 days later, on February 2nd, Buckingham Palace issued a statement that was doubtful but firm. Queen Camilla would indefinitely step down from public roles. All official portraits would be removed. The title of Queen Consort was suspended until further notice, although the statement avoided mentioning the audit or Diana's tape. The public saw this as the end of Camilla's reign in the royal family. The consequences were swift and ruthless. Camilla's official portraits were removed from the halls of Buckingham Palace and other royal residences. Her name was erased from the protocol lists and public documents. Royal events from Easter services to Commonwealth Day proceeded without her presence. Camilla, once a master of soft power, was now pushed to the fringes of history. She left London shortly after the announcement of her withdrawal, retreating to a remote farm in Cornwall, living in isolation with only her old dog Bluebell and a loyal butler.
I think the girls with their nails done now.
Stonewalled the house, surrounded by wild gardens, became Camilla's final refuge. The caretaker, in a rare conversation with a local journalist, revealed that she slept in a room with a portrait of Diana, but it was turned to face the wall. "I don't know if she ever looked at it," the caretaker shared. Meanwhile, in London, the monarchy began to heal. Princess Anne, despite the looming threat of the 1992 secret being exposed, pressed on, hailed by the public as the final shield protecting the legacy of Queen Elizabeth. Kate Middleton, with her quiet strength, solidified her role as a symbol of the next generation, a future queen commanding without uttering a word. King Charles, torn between love and duty, withdrew from the spotlight. Some sources claimed that he had begun writing his memoirs, though no one knew if he would address Camilla or the turbulent years of his reign. For Camilla in Cornwall, silence was the harshest punishment. The woman who once dreamed of the crown was now left with nothing but memories and a legacy wiped clean. On November 11, 2024, the Remembrance Day service at Westminster Abbey took place solemnly under the gray sky with thousands of people watching. Duchess Kate Middleton walked alongside Princess Anne at the front of the royal procession. Camilla, the suspended queen consort, was absent. Both women wore elegant black, exuding a dignified presence.
I think the girls with their nails done now.
No one mentioned Camilla. No one bowed. No words were necessary. The moment Kate and Anne stood together was a wordless statement. A new chapter had begun. Kate, with her resolute gaze, and Anne, sharp as an oak signal, symbolized a shift in power. Their silence spoke volumes. Camilla had been erased from royal history, though never officially announced. Diana's tape had reshaped the way the public viewed the monarchy. Leaked details from the Clarence Hall audit reported by The Guardian and The Times sparked heated debates. The hashtag Justice for Diana spread with millions demanding the truth. One tweet read, "Diana was heard because of Anne and Kate." Anne reinforced her role as the guardian of Elizabeth II's legacy despite the shadow of the 1992 secret. In an interview with the BBC, she stated, "The monarchy exists through integrity. We must face our past." The public hailed her as the Elizabeth Shield, with an unspoken agreement to bury the 1992 issue to avoid further investigations into Camilla or Charles. Kate emerged as a symbol of the new generation, a future queen whose power lay in silence. Without interviews or speeches, she continued to shine at charity events, sparking public curiosity about her vision. The Independent wrote Kate turned silence into strength. A YouGov poll in December 2024 showed that 82% of Britons considered Kate the ideal queen. King Charles stepped back, entrusting duties to William and Kate. The Telegraph reported that he was writing his memoir at Sandringham, though it remained unclear if he would discuss Camilla or Diana. An assistant told Sky News that the memoir was his path to personal forgiveness. Camilla lived in solitude at her Cornwall farm with only Bluebell and a housekeeper for company. Locals rarely saw her except during walks, her eyes appearing hollow. The housekeeper noted that Camilla slept beside a portrait of Diana, her face ever present but never gazed upon. The painting stood as a haunting reminder of her failure. In the halls of Buckingham, the voice of Diana echoed through Anne and Kate, the women who dared to stand up for the truth. The crisis had left scars on the monarchy, but it remained resilient with Kate and William leading under Anne's watch. Camilla's scars, her saga, reminded all that a crown only holds value when worn by the worthy. If you find the dramatic showdown between the powerful women in the royal family truly fascinating, leave your thoughts in the comments about what you think of this power struggle. Don't forget to hit like and share this video so your friends can watch too. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on more exciting videos and interesting royal stories in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.